Hello and welcome back to Rollercoaster Tycoon, the Geoffrey Garden Spark. A blessing and a curse, I feel. A blessing because it is quite an amazing park, doing very well, both financially and in terms of guest count. Look, we are already above the requirements. And we only have a year and 5 days ahead, or a month and 5 days ahead of us. But it's also a curse because the cooker apparatus, is the most unsafe coaster I have ever seen, ever. Yeah, this is a bad coaster, which I am not ever going to build this type of coaster again. I'm fed up with it. It crashes on... what is it again? The last deadly crash? Safety cuts out. That's what it actually crashes on. Which I mean, station brake failures, fine. They are, well, handleable. I mean, a safety mechanic for each coaster does the job quite well. This one, though, keeps crashing despite of that. It's a bad coaster. I don't like it. Also, because it happened right at the end of the last year of the park. Luckily, though, luckily, I mean, I say lucky, but of course it's sad when 4 guests die in an explosion, but it's better than that 4 die than 28, for example, so... Now, where does that leave us? I mean, we have this crazy log fume right over here. Log damage, why is the latest edition, but of course it's the coasters. And I feel that the success of the Red 88 has kind of backfired and thrown a spanner in the works of the plan that I had with the loops. So, in that light, you know, I mean, we already built this, and with the coaster and the loops and the cool stuff, we're gonna do things differently. We're gonna revert to plan B, because I don't really want to change this coaster. It's look at the freaking profit. Wow. Oh my good lord. Wow, look at this. The Red 88 is by far the absolute most profitable coaster, like by a long stretch even. It's like more profitable than any other coaster. Wow. So we're not going to change this, I mean that much is obvious, so we're gonna change the whole looping plan as well, and the way that we're gonna do that is that right now what we're gonna do is, instead of going through it like this 4 times, we're now gonna go through like this, up, through the other, down through, and then up there, and then we'll see what we do. But that is going to be the plan, which is, well, like I said, it's a plan B. It's not as grand as plan A, but since plan A is kind of like gone into ruins, plan B it is. So, now before we get started on that, let's do the quick vandalism checks, of which I think... well, it will be a quick one, as we probably won't have much, if any, vandalism at all. Yeah, I think that right now we got most of the situations in the park taken care of, you know. Any spot that, well, might have had not enough coverage of our dudes that are handy, I mean, they're all taken care of. So the park is like in balance, in equilibrium, as they say. Wow, what a state to be in, really, for a park. A park as amazing as this. Yeah, it's all fine, it's all good. Right, now we will, well, we've kind of looked at it already, but I will do just a quick pricing check. Not that we really need to, but hey, right? Oh, actually, we do need to. Circus Cliché needs its pricing lowered. Which is fine, I mean, it's a cheap ride, so we'll make this 70 cents. Imagine going to a real life circus for 70 cents. Give. Nah, that's just a shop and stall, which is not doing very well. Yeah, these are all just shops and stalls, really, so... good! Well, wait, hold on a second. No, you're open, you just don't have any profits. Fine, the coaster. Quite obviously, the coaster that we're going to build is this, the vertical roller coaster, because that is just so suited to go up and down here. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have that below this hill. We're gonna have the station. Well, let's Let's see over here. It needs to be quite far back, but at the same time, it does need to be ultra far back. If you get what I'm saying. So I'm thinking that if we build the station like right over here on this line, that's quite far back, but not too far, and then we could always add another station. Well, actually, what am I saying? It's only a month. So right, let's get the terraforming tools out there, and let's get... This is where the coaster will start, and then it will go into the underground there. Right, we're getting a move on with ourselves. Good, good, good. We'll go back here. We won't go back too far. We do need to be able to kind of like, yeah, go that way. No. We can still go back one further, which we might as well do, because look at that, perfect. Right, so that is where the coaster is going to be situated. And then we'll build this over here. Now you might wonder, like, why are we building that so far back? Come on, game. Game, don't start removing trees. Now you might wonder, like, why we're building that so far back. And, well, the reason is quite simple why we're building it so far back. See, I mean, I don't really know how it's gonna end up, but it might be that we finish this coaster extremely quick, and in that case we're gonna build another one. And in that case it is going to be situated with the start of the station over here, going in that direction, which means that we'll either have a lift or... excuse me, I just had a sudden sneeze attack, so yeah. Now, anyway, what I was seeing was that if there's gonna be a coaster right next to here, you know, then it's gonna need a lift or a drop down even, so therefore we cannot have the entrance close to the start, which is normally my preferred position of the entrance. But we could of course have gone with an entrance over here, but then we would have had to go below, and that's just lame, so that's why it is or how it is. I mean, so yeah. Yeah, I figured explaining that might make sense. Now, we need to go up here, just like this, and, well, we can actually lift steep. But I don't really want to, because we've got to plan this out just a little bit here right now. See, we need to go through them loops, and the loops start at height 20, so we want to be... Well, I think when we make our first drop, height 27, something like that. Maybe 26, 27. Then we go through here. We need to go to height 24, something like it, you know, a little bit less high at least. And then over here we need to go to, well, if we go at height 23 we're golden, so I guess over here we need height 27, height 28. That's actually quite high up, I must admit. Right, 28 it is for 23 over here, and then, well, whatever happens over here is just, you know, technicality, really. I mean, yeah, you know, we can deal with whatever happens over here. Question is then, of course, where's the coaster gonna go next? But let's first get them ups and downs in there, shall we? So, now, right now we're already at height 17. Now we do need to go up steep a little bit, so that we can get ourselves a proper curve around here. We're at height 25, that's when in no way near enough. That's height 31, which is high enough. But right now we still need to get ourselves to the right spot, which I kind of know we're not at. So maybe we could just have like a small drop in here. Just a regular drop. We won't go the full shebang with steep drops just yet. No, that's not even warranted, you know, a piece like that. Ooh, right now we're getting into the zone of them loops. However, that leaves us to height 28. Yeah, this is height 28. Height 29 even. which it should barely make. Now, if I'm looking at the ground here, we're right in the center of the lake, though, or at least, you know, in the middle of it. So I'm guessing that if we now do the holding brake for drop, now we need to do that a little bit later actually. So we'll go to height 28, and here we do the holding brake for drop. And now we'll go down. Look, right in the center of the lake. This is how I'd like to see it. Look at this. Perfect. And then we go up. And then we can go up steep, just like this. And right now we're at height 20. Wow. Am I just... Is this even for real? Wow, really? I mean, we're at height 27, so the speed on this coaster isn't actually that great. But what I would love for a small dent in there. Ooh, we can actually do that. Look at this, and then oh yes, yes. Look, holding brake for drop, and the same cool shenanigan. We pull it off once again. I don't know if we will be able to. Ooh, we can pull it off like this. How nice. Right. And then, well, we would need to lift it over here, don't we? I guess what we... You know what might be even a better idea? Rather than making just some eeny weaselly drop over here, we're just gonna go up like this. And just lift it once again to height 29. With the whole holding brake for drop thing. I might be wondering, like, damage, why are we building it like this? But that has a reason. Because if we go up here right now, you know, do the steep thing, but at height 20 we should be able to make for this track piece. Look, right now we should just have enough speed for this to actually make it. I hope. So, yeah, that's the reason for it really. Now, we should do some cool track shenanigans, which involve removing quite a few trees here and there, I'm afraid. Oh man, there's so many of them being in the way. Look, another tree in the way. Right. Then we might want to add, like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. There's so many of them trees, and all of them are in the way. Right, maybe a few helixes down, like so. We can actually do that. Alright, we'll do one at least. And then maybe a helix down small. And then we'd want to go like so. I remove the tree. Oh, bet. Just possible, you know. It doesn't take much, but it is definitely possible. Right, however, I now need to be careful that I don't make it impossible for any future coasters to hook up to this, right? So, I might want to go up here right now. See that we don't hit any trees, which we can carefully avoid by just, well, you know, removing them, really. And we'll go up here like so. Come on, tree, you've got to be going. Come on, all of you then, fine. Not really what I wanted. I mean, it's not like I have something against trees. Maybe a little, but you know, sometimes they're just in the way. Now we can go above our own track over there. And we go below our tracks over there. So far everything is looking rather good. Right. That doesn't lead to the right place though. This will. Because we need to also see that we get ourselves back into the underground in one way or the other. At height 10 preferably, and I'm thinking that we should do that by just curving around over here. Over here then perhaps? No, there's a roller coaster in the way, and I kind of know which roller coaster that is. That is our own roller coaster. Yeah. Balls. Right. Maybe we should drop this down one further though then. Right now we're at height 15. And it's all allowed. Good. And then there's a tree in the way which we will cleverly remove. And now we're going down, which is exactly where we need to go, because it is time for us to visit the underground. Because there's a station beckoning for our return, as you can well imagine. We will break this to, say, speed 28. Oh, that's probably not gonna happen. No. Balls. What can we do about this? Let's just think about this thoroughly, right? We need to move this over to the side. Now this brake piece is not technically not there, so, and there's also our own exit that we need to be mindful of. I'm thinking that the best way would actually be to just drop this down 2 more and then just get ourselves lined up in the proper position, really, you know. So there, I guess this would do. Oh yes, 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 we made it. Nice, we made it with 2066 guests in the park and a lot more coming and leaving as well. But yes, we did it with a company value of not that high really, but I don't really mind that. It's actually not that shabby. It's not high. I'd say it's mediocre. I guess the reason for that is that we just had to take out such a big loan, and we had to adjust our pricing strategy just to maintain the crazy amount of guests in the park. But it was damaged the ultra good, ultra skilled tycoon who did this. Now, we still got this coaster to finish, so we might as well do that. But we made it, guys. It is done. The mission is accomplished, as I would say. Oh man, am I happy with that. Right, now what we need to do right now though is try and get this to line up proper. Oh, it doesn't. Can't I go up one earlier with this? And then no. Even one earlier? Earlier? No, it doesn't allow. But maybe if we just do this whole curve a little bit later. Right now. No, it doesn't allow because of the terrain. Come on, man, game. Game. I know I've finished the park already and I could be doing other things right now, but I really want to finish this coaster and see how good it is. Right, and we will add a brake over there so that this curve doesn't break all the necks. Wow, alrighty. Well, let's enable support and all that. This coaster isn't really anything special, but man, are we gonna test it, and man, is it gonna be great. Just going through it like this, even though I must admit that this piece, what I had more imagined of this part is just, you know, a regular shaped round thing, but I guess with the steep drop it just had to be like this, really. I don't think we really had an alternative. I would much rather prefer that it was just a regular round shape, you know, but well, what can we do? Well, maybe we should not have had a holding brake for drop over here, but they're just so cool. They're so cool. Right, okay, now oh, look at that bump. No, almost though. And then it makes it over there, which is very good. And then it just goes to, well, you know, underground mode. So, right, we need to hook this one up. But man, we did it! We finished the park, and without those cheesy, cheap advertising campaigns. None of those shenanigans we had to use. Nothing. It was all done by just awesome designs and, well, you know, having a plan B for when you need it. Well, not really. I mean, I kind of wished that... Oh, that is an issue. That is a serious issue. We can get around... Oh no, we actually... No, we cannot get around over here. Now can we? No, this is an issue. Alright, well in that case what we need to do is just go around here by 2. Which is only better for the repeat guest even. No, 3 in the way. Not anymore. I mean, don't you know guys, I can now remove trees without any problem. I am the person who finished the Corkscrew Follies. I am better than corkscrews and their fall. Wow, wow. Look at the speed at which it's going through that though. It's a good thing we lowered the speed over here, because that surely would have killed the guest. Oh, it's not even grand. No. That is so sad. We did not go out with the grand masterpiece. I remember how we went out in the original, you know, at the Twin Peak thingy, where I built for the very first time a coaster with a 10 excitement rating, the Eagle's Bunk, or the Idolized Bunker. I remember that like it was yesterday. I had something like that planned over here, but you know, the success of the Red 88 just completely, you know, it just threw everything off really. It's kind of sad in a way, you know. And that whole success, actually, if we had enough cash to actually build everything that I wanted, this probably would have been less successful, ironically. But that would have actually been better for the coaster that we would have built right here. Oh man, sometimes, though, I'm saying that, you know, but that is true and it's not true in a way, because the thing is, if we had built more over here onto this coaster, you see, the money would have been a problem all the same. The thing is, you know, that money in this park, because we had to get such crazy high numbers for guest count, we just, I don't know really, you know, this park played different. Maybe a grand coaster like I usually try and build them just wasn't in the cards for this park because of the crazy numbers we had to achieve, you know. I mean, that's very well possible. So yeah, I'm not that sad about it, but yeah, I would have loved to have the coaster with a 10 in the ratings, even though I think that this is still pretty cool. And of course we can spice things up a little bit. There, we will add a few fountains here and there. They will surely spice things up when the coaster travels right next to them. Look at that. Yeah, that should add at least a few ratings. It's not much though. Oh no, look at that, 7.9 now. I'm sure we could get this up to 8 if we so desired, but really, no, we still need to name this. We'll call this, yeah, what we will call this, Mad Hula. Mad Hula. It was actually because it goes through hoops, you know, so hula hooping, but yeah, I'm sure that was very obvious to all of you. Now, we are going to give this a paint job. Not like that, no, we can't have that, but this is what was on it, I believe. We pair that up with blue, it just looks rubbish, really. If we do it the other way around, that looks kind of cool, but we have so much blue already in the park. If we go with grey, and then with orange, this could do really. I mean, it's not like we have any of those colors in the park already. It's just that the combination over here, where we already have a red and purple, does look quite alright. If we then go with white, no, we can't. For some reason, white supports, with these white supports, they just don't look good. They don't mix. This we could do. We could also, no, we cannot do that. Well, I think the black supports don't look so shabby. It's just that it adds a lot of blackness over there. I don't like that. Let's see what this does. Makes it way too red, if you ask me. We could check these out. I'm not entirely convinced. It doesn't look bad, which is odd because I would have expected it to, really. What if we go with these? I guess these look kind of alright, you know, to me. Yeah, alright, we'll go with those then. We won't go with the red cards either. We'll go with yellow and the icy blue ones. There. Alright, so the Mad Hula is now a fact. Of course, you know, as good practice dictates, and I know we've completed the park, it's not really that necessary, but we will get ourselves a handy dude to patrol the area here, and we will also get ourselves a handy dude who's going to or a fix mechanic who's going to keep that coaster in mint condition all the time. No, that's not where I wanted to drop you. That is exactly where I wanted to drop you. There, now don't you leave. No. Get back there. Right, and walk up and down right now. Or actually... Right, well yeah. I don't think this square is actually catching him. I think it's this square that keeps him there. Fine then. I think, ladies and gentlemen, that this park, well, we completed it. It isn't exactly finished, but I've been playing this park for so long, and we finished it. And wow, look at this! Look at the amount of guests. It's still rising. Now, you know, one thing, just to kind of like, you know, do a, well, you know, a, how do you put that, you know, a looking back onto the Corkscrew Follies, because, you know, in hindsight thing, you know, an evaluation of my thoughts and my experiences with it. I think the Corkscrew Follies pack, you know, was really, it is an improvement over the original, that much is for sure, but it also really ramped up the challenges and the difficulty in my eyes, because, well, as you know, I go by the rule of not using the cheesy advertising campaigns, and, well, up till a certain park of which the name just escapes me now, I thought that was the intention, but then, you know, because each park has its own gimmick, of which I must admit, you know, that the devs really did a much better job in the Corkscrew Follies pack than in the original, because each park really has its own theme and handicaps really to it, you know, and each park had a lot more character and required different approaches in some cases. But one of those parks had a gimmick, you know, a handicap, in which we could not use advertising campaigns, which really rung a bell in my head that the devs were fully expecting that you do use them. We don't, so in that, you know, in that respect, we kind of played, you know, probably better than what the devs expected of the average player. But having said that, you know, having the difficulty being raised quite severely, I think that, you know, it's good, because the original roller coaster, the thing that was lacking there was a challenge. It's fun, you know, it's a lot of fun to just be able to do whatever you want, build things the way you like it and get away with it. In the Corkscrew Follies, you cannot. If you screw up like 2 or 3 times, it's finished. Or you must do extraordinary things, but really, you know, for the average John Doe, it's finished. Really. You cannot afford like 2 or 3 failed coasters, you know, you spend like 3 months and all your money building them and then they turn up to be way too extreme, completely unfixable. That's just, you know, the margin for tolerance for those errors isn't there anymore. Then again, you know, Another thing that comes with the difficulty is time pressure, which also kind of comes into another aspect of the Corkscrew Follies that I didn't like so much, which is the complete lack of creativity once again in the objectives that you need to meet. Now, it isn't as bad as the original, in which I believe every park had the same type of objective, that you need to get X number of guests in an X amount of years with a park rating of 600. I mean, they could have well just left the whole park rating out there because it's always 600 that you need to achieve. But, you know, the Corkscrew Follies had way too much of that as well. Even this park had it. Though, I must admit, there were some cases where you did not have such a goal, which I enjoyed greatly. This is one park where you don't have a time limit, but you need to build a certain amount of coasters, I believe, which was just freaking amazing. I really loved that. So, well, one thing I do hope for the loopy landscapes is that there will be more of that stuff. But then, you know, aside from the lacking challenges and or the lack, not the lack, I mean the challenges were there, but the lacking creativity in the challenges, I think the Corkscrew Follies is quite enjoyable. There's so much gameplay in here, so, you know, and those new rides, even though they're not that many new rides, you know, there's quite a few new ones, and they do just add that little bit that you're like, yeah, that's cool. You know, there's like the, you know, the new bumper cars and the river ride, you know, the improved lock fume. There's quite a few coasters that are freaking amazing and all that. And it's just, you know, these days, some things, you know, they get released as an expansion pack, but you'd think like, it could have been just a DLC. Totally not the case with this. Well, in fact, when Corkscrew Follies was released, DLCs did not exist. The whole word abbreviation was just unknown. You know, the whole concept hadn't even been birthed yet. But in any case, you know, I think it was great fun. And well, this park, I could do a whole time lapse of this park, but I'm not going to. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna save the game here, and as you can see, you know, well, you can't see it right now, but as you can see, there is this whole long list of, well, you know, all the parks I've completed. This includes, you know, the original parks. Yeah, look, Forest Frontiers. It's all there, you know. I think that in the description of this video, maybe you want to play, you know, any of these parks I've finished. Or maybe even finish this, you know, maybe time-lapse this park, or do scenery, or, I don't know, remove everything, see how much money you can get back. Some sort of crazy thing, or just look at what I've made. I'm gonna upload this, you know, my save folder, so if you have it installed and you do want to take a look, you can just copy it over and see for yourselves. So that's that. Now, for the rest, as for loopy landscapes, I've said it a couple of times already, you know, when people asked, but I'll say it here again. I'm so going to play that. In fact, well, I'm not literally right after right now, because it's quite late in the evening. But it's definitely coming right straight next up after the loopy landscapes, in case you didn't know. And I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of people have said that I would greatly enjoy it, so, well, it better be true. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And, you know, if the Corkscrew, you know, if this is like where the original is, and this is where the Corkscrew Follies is, then I hope that the loopy landscapes will be somewhere up here, you know, with even more challenge, even more creativity, more rides, more engaging parks, and, well, just a whole bigger, grander scope of things, you know, to it. Because that's the one thing that I really feel like the Corkscrew Follies kind of like drove me away from, was just the craziness and creative building of coaster, you know. Coasters that had a theme or an you know, an object that they could really, you know, that you could do special things with, you know. I really felt that because the difficulty bar had been raised up so much, that the creativity in your designs also lacked because of that constant time pressure. Like, you need to get 1500 guests in 3 years or something, you know, which is, that's difficult, it's not easy. Even if you start out with like 100 guests, it's still not easy. So that really, because, you know, a nice, awesome, grand coaster design requires time. It requires trial and error and a creative mind and lots of money and space, you know, to be a proper, true, grand coaster. And I feel like the Corkscrew Follies, it had its moments, but most of those coasters that I've built were in time lapses and not just during the actual park. And I hope that the loopy landscape somehow gives more room for those really nice, awesome, creative, big, grand coasters that you just have your mouth or your jaw drop on your knees, you know, like, wow, did he just make that? You know, like that. Ah, man, I can tell you one thing, I'm looking forward to the loopy landscapes. I hope you are too, and you're gonna find out next time when we play more Rollercoaster Tycoon, the loopy landscapes.